I find very interesting information, because these are some things that we are clarifying and discussing with clients and friends and strangers on the side of the road. Essentially what they're saying is, I saw my home value on this website. Well, I saw it on this website. Well, my appraisal said my home was worth this. And so we're going to clarify tonight what these numbers mean, these numbers that you see on some of the major sources on the internet. We're going to clarify what they mean, sort of talk about how they come up with these numbers, and then at the end we'll talk about how you actually know what your home is actually worth in today's market. What's the one that you hear the most often? People seeing their home value on what site or what source? Well, there's two sources that I see the most. One of them is Zillow, because they spend millions in for advertisements and things, and the tax assessments, especially like in the Houston area, HCAD.
Right.
People are always asking about that. What does this mean? How is this? Just confusion,
right.
especially from people that are from out of state. That are not used to how things are, I guess, in Texas.
Correct.
So it's very, what's the difference between a tax assessment and then market value?
So let's talk, because specifically HCAD is very confusing, because they have your appraised value and then your market value on
But it's not really an actual appraisal.
It's
a
not.
Tax assessment.
So let's talk about that. First of all, your tax assessment is solely for the purpose of taxation. That's it. Okay, they have nothing in the actual market value of your home when it comes to what the most seller and buyer would exchange for a home. That's the market value, a true market value of a home. What's that magic number of what a buyer and seller will both? Your tax appraisal, your tax assessment is just that, your appraised value on your taxing authority's website. So the tax assessor does official visible
You sure
physical.
That was ice
I'm
cream?
sure it's coffee and ice cream, guys. Okay. They're going to do a visual inspection on the exterior of your home. This person will never come inside your house. Even if you're home, they'll knock on the door and they'll say, "Hey, I'm from HCAD, and I'm going to look around your house."
If they even do that.
Yeah. So HCAD specifically, again, we're going to assume that surrounding counties have similar practices, except for maybe Waller. Kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Don't get judgy, Miss Liberty over here.
Sorry. They're going to try to visit your home every 4 to 6 years. A lot changes in the market every 4 to 6 years, but they're going to come to visually inspect your home every 4 to 6 years, and then they're still only going to stay on the outside. So they don't know if you have, what kind of countertops you have. They don't know what kind of flooring you have. They know nothing about the innards of your home.
Yeah, they don't know how much upgrades you actually did do to actually increase your market value. They're just going to kind of assign.
And so if you're not home, which, by the way, you don't have to allow them on your property. If you knock on the door, they introduce themselves, you say, "Go away," then they're going to leave. They're going to go to their car, and they're going to just make a guess is what's going to happen.
That could hurt.
It could hurt you, actually. Which, by the way, these tax assessors, they will always, or physical inspectors will always be heavily identified. They'll wear a vest, they'll have a badge, heavily identified. If you're not home, they'll just measure and evaluate on what they have access to. So they won't go in the backyard if you're not home. So anyway, your tax assessment should typically be lower, wouldn't you say, than your actual market value?
It should definitely be a lot lower than a lot lower.
Yeah.
I want to talk about cash offers and just kind of how some of that stuff kind of works and how they come up with their valuation of your home. Cash offers are typically done by investors, and investors are
obviously it is a business for them. So they're not typically going to give you what you could get by selling your home. For the simple fact, because of how they look at things, especially if your house is in some sort of
disrepair,
or just some sort of distressed situation, whatever that is, because they're going to look at what they can sell your house for, and then from that they're going to subtract whatever percentages that they need to subtract for either remarketing your home or the price of the sale, and then they're going to take their percentages of whatever they need to make for their profit, whatever their system or whatever their formulas work out. Then they're going to subtract from that all of this other stuff. They're going to subtract the how much it costs, the cost of repair. Then that is what they're going to offer you.
So in short, they're going to offer you way less than fair market value.
Typically, yeah. But I mean, they're not trying to be unfair. Most of them, they're not trying to be unfair. They're not trying to take advantage of you. They're not trying to do something dirty. It's a business for them, and this is how they run their business. But anyway, I guess.
Awesome.
Tell us about our favorite thing that we hear the most about ever.
Zestimates! If you look on Zillow's website, if you're not familiar with this, Zillow.com, there is a function on there that's called a zestimate, okay, which by their definition, the zestimate home value is Zillow's estimated market value for an individual home and is calculated for about 100 million homes nationwide. It is a starting point in determining a home's value and is not an official appraisal.
No
oh my
kidding.
Goodness, okay. The zestimate is automatically computed daily based on millions of public and user-submitted data points based on their proprietary algorithm. If you zestimate your home, more than likely you're going to see a figure similar to your tax assessment. Okay, just letting you know, I did my home and saw what they said my home is worth, which was a good $20,000 less than what I know it's worth. How do I know what it's worth? We'll get to it in just a second, okay? But it's really important, again, to make sure, because, again, keep in mind, it could go either way. It could tell you your home is worth so much more than it's really not. It even has this disclaimer that it's not, it's just a starting point, and it's not accurate. And the problem with this is if you don't understand the number you're looking at, when someone comes in and gives you the real market value, then you'll either be super excited or super disappointed. So rarely is it dead on. Ignore estimates. Ignore them. Ignore them. Can we get to, well, my friend said,
show me the contract. You got to admit, some of your friends are full of crap. I mean,
none of our friends are.
Yeah, none.
I think we live in a world where there's so much information out there. It's information overload. It's hard to come by and sort through what's factual, what's misconstrued. So I'm sure all of our friends have great intentions. However, when it comes to determining...
Some of your friends don't.
When it comes to determining the market value of our home. And I think we see this a lot, like neighbor to neighbor. Well, my neighbor sold their home for such and such amount of money. I want to sell mine for the same amount. Again, you have to make sure...
Maybe apples and oranges.
Apples and oranges. So we got to be careful to make sure we're taking things with a grain of salt from our friends and getting expert advice. So how do you know what your home is actually worth? You get expert advice, and the only way you're going to get a decent figure is with a physical inspection of your home.
Yes.
So you're going to see this pretty much in two ways. One, you're going to get a realtor to come out and give you their opinion, price opinion of what your home could sell for in today's market. Another way, you see this a lot for refinance and all that stuff. And ultimately, when you are in a transaction, this is really what the transaction is going to depend on.
The appraisal.
Appraisal is when a certified appraiser comes to your home, typically on behalf of a mortgage company, and values your home.
Yeah.
So it is important, and how we're going to come up with that is comparing it to actual sales in your specifically in your neighborhood, but in the area if there aren't enough comparable sales in your neighborhood. But also factoring in, yes, the condition of your home, any upgrades. But even then, upgrades only go so far, but that's a whole nother show right there.
Yeah.
It costs you nothing to call your realtor up, call us up and say, I'm thinking of selling, or I don't know, what to upgrade or whatever. Our advice is free. So again, to make sure you get a correct valuation of your home, make sure there's someone there to physically inspect your property that has the intentions of informing you of the full market value of the home.
Talk to a professional. Don't go off of these sites. Don't go off of these sources. Talk to a professional that can actually help you.
And more importantly, don't get your hopes up because of these things, okay? Again, just have no expectations until you get that professional opinion.
Because these things can be super high or super low, and the truth is out there.
Thank you all so much. Tonight was fun. We hope you learned something. Peace out, yo. We'll see you next week.